competition and make people maybe laugh a little bit. But today we are here to reveal and talk about our first, our 32 1980s one-hit wonders. It is a loaded bracket that we have here. I think it's really anybody's matchup, but we're going to start right up at the top. And, coming in right away, we've got Come On Eileen by Dexy's Midnight Runners from 1982. Interesting, many times considered probably one of the most famous one-hit wonders of the 80s. How do you guys feel about this one?
Well, I'm all in on any music video that has a bunch of people wearing overalls and no shirts. So they had me right from the beginning.
Great look. Yeah, it's I think it's a pretty great song. I think throughout the years I've kind of been alternated hot and cold on it, but I'm enjoying it right now. It's definitely weird. It's not a real traditional ABA kind or ABC kind of song. It's like first of all, the lyrics, especially in the first verse, are completely unintelligible. Like even like when we started this, I was like, you could have told me the lyrics to this song and said just spoken the lyrics to me, and I would have had no idea what you were talking about.
You don't speak high-pitched voice?
No, but it's beyond that. I mean, it's just like, it's the heavy, accent, and just the way he doesn't sing it in a typical verse,
Correct.
It's just kind of all over the place. Yeah. But it's obviously it's one of those. I think there were several bands that did this in the 80s, kind of combining Celtic music or world music with like new wave Britpop. Like Big Country was another one. I think
yeah.
God, like, I don't want to say U2, but I feel like that there were several other bands that kind of did that same sort of thing where they were like combining their home country's music with the new wave 80s sound. And it was the British invasion at that time, or the European invasion, was so huge that there was a lot of that kind of crossover.
Now, Jen, this we were both born in 1982, and there's a lot of 1982 on this list. Did this, even being that young, did this song stand out to you early on?
Oh yeah, like I don't remember a time not like knowing this song. Like it's just always been there, and I love that it's still like such a classic. I'm a middle school teacher, and so I love like young adult literature and movies, and Perks of Being a Wallflower is one of my favorites, and it has this like just magical scene in the movie where they're at the school dance and they're all like too cool for the current music, and then the band plays Come On Eileen, and Emma Watson's character is like, oh my gosh, they're actually playing good music, and they go out and do a dance on the dance floor, and it's just fantastic. And yeah, it's not a song that was like a specific point in time. It's one of those songs that you just always hear.
Me being a dumb young kid, I just thought it was about a lazy guy that really liked to just lean up against walls all the time, because I couldn't understand the verses. I mean, like you said, Ryan, they're completely incomprehensible. So I'm like, boy, this guy just wants to lean around all day. Who's giving him such a hard time? But
you when you look at the overalls, it
exactly,
all kind of makes sense.
Exactly.
But just one more quick note on this one. VH1 did a list of the best one-hit wonders of the 80s, and then they also did a list of the best one-hit wonders of all time, and because that's VH1 in a nutshell.
Yeah, it is.
And this made their number one on the best of the 80s, and number two on their best of all time.
Yeah, that's VH1. They got nothing on us.
Yeah. That has nothing to do with why we picked it.
I'm willing to bet right now we have more followers than VH1 has viewers. That's okay.
Certainly on TikTok.
So, the British getting a lot of representation in the 80s and 1982 getting a lot of representation. The very next song checks both those boxes. Iran, parentheses, so far away, a flock of seagulls. I noticed this was a flock of seagulls, not flock of seagulls. But definitely, again, like Jen, like you said, a video that sticks out also.
Oh my God, this video. I love it. We've got a bunch of mirrors and tinfoil. Let's make the weirdest effing video we can.
I love it.
Yeah, again, early in the 80s to just we're gonna just get as weird as possible. How about let's get 4 or 5 different hairdressers in here and everybody do something completely different.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is certainly, for anybody out there who's not familiar with A Flock of Seagulls hairstyle, the hairstyle that the lead singer had, it's like pretty much the most radical hairstyle in the history of pop music. Like, I can't imagine doing anything more like crazy. You could like shave, bald spots in your head or whatever. This dude is like next level.
Yeah.
It does not even look good either. It's like really terrible looking.
I feel like it's become more famous than the song or like anything else about them.
It's like,
yeah, and I think there was a reference to it too. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I don't want to interrupt you. I have a couple more things.
No, it's quite all right. It feels like he walked in and said, "Make me look like a time traveler who accidentally went back in time and got dog licked by a giant dinosaur."
Yeah.
But he's dressed fancy with his red satin shirt with poofy sleeves and like a tie.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So one thing that this song had. So this song, unlike "Come On Eileen," was not as ever present to me, at least. I don't remember hearing it everywhere throughout the 80s or the 90s. Honestly, I'm sure I did hear it, but it was like I feel like it had a big resurgence.
Yeah, this was definitely a reprise song.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm not a gamer, but I remember when Grand Theft Auto Vice City came out in 2002, and they had a commercial with this song in it, and it was like it went viral before YouTube and whatever. It was just like everybody was all of a sudden like, what the fuck is that song? It's like really good, and is because it was I think it had been out of the consciousness for long enough that it was kind of new to a lot of people. But and then I think also there was a reference to Flock of Seagulls in like The Wedding Singer or something. So it's kind of like within a couple of years they got a couple there were a couple big pop culture moments for Flock of Seagulls.
Yeah.
Another just random fact, they had 2 other hits here besides Iran, not the country. But neither of them broke into the top 20. In the UK though,
they were
which is where they're from, they had Iran was not their most successful song. It was like their 5th most successful song. They had like way more popular stuff there. So yeah, I thought that was really interesting. It shows how terrible their taste is.
Well, what's funny?
I'm just kidding.
I actually, speaking of taste and tasty things, I got to see a Flock of Seagulls at Ribfest a few years ago.
Oh, really?
And I will tell you what, the band was as tasty as those ribs.
Wow.
That is for sure.
Original lineup?
It was just the brother. So it's two brothers that started the band, and it was just the those two original. But still, a fun time was had by all at this free A Flock of Seagulls concert.
The one question everyone wants to know: did they play "I Ran So Far Away"?
Well, and maybe this will come up in a future tournament, but this was the second time I witnessed a band open and close with the same song.
I love it. They better.
Yeah, even better.
You know what? Get your money's worth.
You better. And you know what? This next band might do the same thing. From 1980. Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm just
sorry.
shaking my head at the song already because I know it's coming.
Yeah, not necessarily loved by all, but definitely a number one seed in our opinion. From 1980, we have Funky Town by Lips Inc., Minneapolis's own.
Mm-hmm. Yep, Cynthia Johnson.
What was funny is the song is about them wanting to leave Minneapolis for New York because they feel it's more funky. And I'll tell you what, I don't know if there was a funkier city from 1980 to 1985 than...
That's a legit controversial opinion.
Hot take.
There is a musical god that would disagree about the funkiness of Minneapolis, but so Funky Town from Lips Inc. What do you guys got?
So, I mean, first of all, I've listened to this song a few times. Outside of it, you know, I've probably heard this song like 1,000 times. I made a TikTok dance to it, so you can check that out. I'm at Snubs and Flubs on TikTok.
We will definitely be posting that on the Facebook page when this one comes up.
And you know, I truly love this song. I think it's one of the best like funk pop hybrid kind of songs ever recorded, and it's amazing that like this, you know, some of these songs, it's crazy that these people just never did anything else that like spoke to the people. It just, they came in, they made this song that's like a masterpiece, and that was it. But I mean, to speak to how universally great this song was, it went to number one in 18 different charts in 14 different countries. So that's
you can stuff your stats in a bag.
That's I have a lot more stats that are a lot more impressive than that. I'm fully.
What's their
full
OPS
today?
What's their OPS and win over replacement?
But yeah, I mean, the bottom line is, Funky Town is just a classic song. You know, I think it's timeless too. It's one of those songs that if it came out today, it would be a bop. All right. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's too disco-y. And that's, you know, that's kind of part of it too, is I think a lot of people think of Funky Town as being a 70s song and not an 80s song, because
really
it is a
surprised.
cusp.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I definitely thought, and I have to admit, like, overplayed disco, like funk pop is my most hated genre, and this one, like, definitely was up there. If you haven't watched the music video, it is like two women, in kind of like disco, like workout clothes, and they're dancing some disco moves and then some like robot moves.
Oh.
And there's lots of like freeze frames. But Cynthia Johnson, the singer, isn't even in it. It's like two white chicks. And like the blonde white chick is the one that's like pretending to sing.
Wow.
Yep.
That sounds pretty incredible.
Yeah. So So one other interesting thing I learned about Funky Town that I did not know offhand because I wasn't regularly listening to Alvin and the Chipmunks in 2008, but they did a cover of Funky Town, and it made number 86 on the Hot 100 charts. So,
wow.
Yes, in 2008.
Insane.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Alvin and the Chipmunks.
That is crazy.
Alvin and the Chipmunks has some bangers. They have there's a record that somebody made, like a DJ or something, where they take like old Alvin and the Chipmunks records and slow them down to like 33 and a third speed or whatever. And so the voices sound normal, but the instrumentation is all slowed down to where it's like
You're right,
doom
super
rock. So like the voices all sound correct, like the people's actual voices, but the instrumentation is like super gothy. And they do like a version of Call Me that they made in like by Blondie from like 86 or something, and it's really good.
Well, hopefully Alvin and the Chipmunks will make an appearance on a future future bracket so that we can dive deeper into this
best cartoon
this
trios.
mystery of Alvin and the Chipmunks covers. But moving on, next we've got 1984's Take On Me by Aha, the Norwegian superstars. Everybody's got to love Aha. Can you hit that note, though?
No, I can't, but I try loudly in my car every time.
Yeah, every time I'm like, maybe if I start an octave down this time, I'll be, and it just never, it doesn't matter.
You know, earlier when you were talking about drawing conclusions, Ryan, I didn't want to give away another one of our number one seeds, but speaking of music videos and drawing conclusions, this is definitely, and they won 6 MTV Music Video Awards. I mean, that's a big accomplishment there.
This was one we were chatting about this yesterday off air, about how important music videos were in the 80s to launching hits, you know. A lot of these one-hit wonders especially were songs that had like really cool inventive music videos, and Take On Me, I think, is the number one example of that. I guess when they first recorded the song in studio, they hated it, and they like wanted to scrap it, and they were desperate to get in and record it again. They got the chance, still weren't satisfied, but they had like a label rep in the U.S. who strongly believed that it was a good song, and all it needed was a good video. So they ended up putting like 2 months into creating this animated clip, or this animated video, and obviously, you know, the rest is history.
We spent all our money on the video. We should have spent our money on songwriting lessons.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's the same music video director that directed another one on our list. She Blinded Me by Science. Steve Barron is that music video director, and he did the videos for both of those. Yeah.
Yeah, see, there's a lot of crossover in the 80s. You know, there was only limited resources. The industry wasn't as overloaded as it used to, or as it is nowadays.
Yeah, absolutely.
Coming up next, again, we've got a lot of European acts.